I'm ready. What up? Let's get to it. So, shout out once again to the Minnesota Vikings for the major victory, the great victory versus the Detroit Lions. What a game. What a performance from both sides of the ball, right? Still things to work on, still things to work on, hands down, man down, right? But at the end of the day, solid performance, a much needed solid performance from the Minnesota Vikings, huh? Not only to save the season, protect the North to the point to where they can still go win the North, correct? But just the team, building the team morale, confidence, huh? Huh? The confidence you give your quarterback, the confidence it gives your team, your players, your personnel. Not only that, your coaching staff, huh? Your GM, your owners from top to bottom, etc., etc., etc. Just a good feeling, a good win, a convincing win from the Minnesota Vikings. What we've all been waiting for. Heavy. Injuries suck, but it's part of the game, part of the process sometime in the NFL, correct? Huh? So bottom line is the Vikings have been dealing with major injuries, but now, November, December, the perfect time. I repeat, the perfect time to get healthy, baby. For everyone to come back, all your starters on the field. Playing is one. Playing, continuing to grow. Playing your best football in December, January. Boom. That's how playoff runs are created, huh? Or made. So the Vikings right now finally getting healthy seems like at the right time, but that was a colossal win for them boys, man. Heavy, no way around it, huh? You hear me? The way they fought together, got down early. Detroit scored first, marched down the field, right? Converted on a 4th and 4, but the offense comes back. Boom, right down yonder, huh? Right round yonder. Answer back. No, we here to play and we here to stay, dog. That drive right there, let them know. Let the Lions know. Dan Campbell know, huh? You hear me? Oh, this is a different Vikings team, baby. It's different right now. It's different now. This team does have talent. This team got a bunch of dogs around there and a bunch of talent around there. And if the coaches and players are all on the same accord, right? Coaches, KOC, Brian Flores continue to put their players in the best position to win and perform at their maximum level. Oh, man, huh? You hear me? Sky's the limit, huh? Matter of fact, it is no limit for them boys, baby. Do you hear me? Huh? Yeah. Big SKOL here. SKOL Vikes forever. Win, lose, or draw. Believe that. But great performance, top to bottom. With that being said, let's get into it. I'm going to talk about the offense first, then the defense last. But KOC, he's getting it going. He's getting it going, right? Still hasn't gave us a full 4 quarters. No, that was a good game. Majority of the game, he coached very well, but he still had some mental lapses. But what we're seeing with KOC, huh? Correct? Progress, huh? Progression, baby. You hear me? That's what it's about. Him getting better, him getting better. Consistency. He hasn't been consistent. The team hasn't been consistent, especially the offensive side of the ball, right? You know, pretty much the first game where the defense wasn't on the field the whole game. And even then, the Vikings offense went stagnant 3rd quarter, late in the 4th quarter, I believe, at one point. Even on the goal line, they could have put the game away. KOC trying to get too pretty, too fancy, right? Trying to do too much instead of boom, run the ball 3-4 times if you have to, dog. You hear me? Sometimes KOC gets carried away, but he's growing. He's growing. Bottom line is the main thing, he got better. You know, they put up 27. Defense held them to 24. I feel like with this defense, you hear me. If the offense can score 20 plus a game, 25 plus a game, right? They're in a good position. Puts them and the defense in a good position. Heavy, huh? You hear me, dog? Yeah. But shout out KOC, man, for coaching up, dialing it up, in big moments. You hear me? The 3rd and 10 screen pass to Aaron Jones was phenomenal, a phenomenal call, right? And it was a quick developing screenplay. It didn't take 5 seconds. He didn't try to run it to Hawkinson. That's not what Hawkinson is meant for, right? That's not what he does. He went quick game, boom, right? Aaron Jones, boom, baby, easy work, 3rd down conversion, big play of the game, you know? So all KOC has to do is keep progressing heavy. And it helps when you have your starters. You hear me, dog? It helps when your O line is playing well, correct? It helps when your quarterback is playing well, very well at that. You hear me? Heavy. So it's a domino effect. There's no I in team, right? But when KOC has all his talent, all his weapons, we're starting to see. Took some damn time, but it seems like we're starting to see, and he's finally getting there, man. The game even slowing down for him. Let's not forget, I know it's year 4, but he's still adjusting. He's still technically a young offensive minded head coach, offensive coordinator in the NFL, right? Heavy. So he still has a lot to learn, baby. But that was a big win for him. The team, yes, but a big win, a monkey off his back, right? For KOC, homie. You hear me? Finally beat Dan Campbell, right? Not only beat Dan Campbell, but beat them in Detroit. Hostile environment. You know how it goes when they get momentum, when it starts to swing, starts to shift, huh? It's like an avalanche. They just keep piling it on, piling it on. But from the first touchdown the Lions scored, the Vikings killed that noise. Boom. They answered right back, right? They answered right back. Hell yeah. you know? They let the Lions know and their fans. We here to play today, baby. You hear me? We here to play today. Y'all gonna paint today. Right? Physicality, respect, heavy. So shout out KOC once again. Can still improve, can still continue to get better. The team is getting better, continuing to grow. The spooky thing is, we haven't even seen their best football from the Vikings, Real scary, real spooky, baby, and I still stand on it. You hear me? If the Vikings can stay healthy and the offense can continue to complement the defense, You hear me? Won't no team want to see the Vikings, especially playoff time. Period. You know? Score Vikes, win, lose, or draw. I stand on that 10 toes down. Shout out to the O-line. They perform better. You see what happens when you get the run game going. Once again, KOC, play calling. He should have leaned on the run more at times, I believe. You hear me? The goal line late in the game, put them away. Take their will, break their will, take their heart, take their soul. That's what it's about. But they got the run game going. They turned it up. Matter of fact, let's check some of the stats real quick from the run game. Yeah. See how many rushing yards exactly they had. That game. You hear me? Rushing yards, the Vikings had 142. 142 rushing yards, huh? The Detroit Lions only had 65. Great job by the defense. I'm going to get into that in a minute. But something simple is getting the run game going. Leaning on a run, relying on your O-line. Your O-line getting back healthy. Starting to play well. Opening up lanes. Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, toting that tater, creating lanes for themselves at times. Being physical. We finally seeing the Vikings being physical. You hear me? They can still improve in pass protection. McCarthy still was sacked how many times? 4 or 5? So they still got beat a lot in pass pro. Improve. But majority of the time, they won. But they must improve. Pass protection, get the run game going earlier. But I was very satiated by what I saw in the run game and the play calls KOC had, especially early. He didn't panic. He didn't try to do too much. He calmed his team down, calmed them down, settled in. You hear me? But shout out to the O-line for performing well. Step up, get better. Boom. You're going up against the good Ravens defense, Ravens front. It will not be an easy battle, the way the Ravens are playing better. I believe, yeah, they have Lamar Jackson back. You hear me? So they got some energy. They got some momentum. They still in the playoff mix. So it's going to be a tough game. You hear me? At home or not. Good thing we back in the bank. But at the end of the day, you going up against Lamar and a high-powered offense and a tough, fast, physical defense, bro. For real. Don't take this team lightly. No emotional letdowns from neither side of the ball, dog, or the coaching staff. Correct. And zone in and go play 4 quarters of football. But props to the O-line for performing better, taking that next step, getting the run game, having some form of a run game, what we've been waiting for. Yeah. And I feel like we're just going to continue to see progression every week from here on out. Physical football, able to run the ball, beat a team up, especially later in the game, 4th quarter, boom. When you want to take a team, break a team, take their soul. You hear me? Leave it on the field. You hear me, dog? Heavy, huh? Yeah. Yeah. So as the offense grows, continues to thrive, KOC grows, continues to thrive, they're going to get it going. They're going to get it going. The best Vikings football is yet to come. Yeah. Shout out to the receivers, Jefferson, Addison, even Hawkinson. Everybody stepped up when they needed to. You hear me? Made plays when they needed to make plays. Shout out to that boy McCarthy. I made a previous video about him. Shout out to McCarthy, man. His poise. You talking about a dude, a rookie. At that, let's not forget a rookie. Physically, as far as playing, being on the field. You saw him get emotional at his presser. You wonder why. You know why, though. Dude been on a long journey, facing injuries, sitting out, missing a whole year, coming back injured again, fighting, staying mentally strong, mentally tough, being prepared. Then he goes in a hostile environment, one of the best teams, some say the best team in the NFC, or the NFL. Everybody's saying the Lions are back, giving the Vikings no chance, giving KOC, giving JJ McCarthy no chance in hell, right? And he goes out there and plays phenomenal. Yeah, he missed some throws, etc. Had some bad throws, but majority of the game, he threw dots, led his team, was a leader, ran the ball, ran it in for a touchdown. You hear me, dog? Used his legs, right? Heavy, bro. Period. A leader out there, a captain out there, man. Stepped up, made some big throws, had a spectacular throw to Jordan Addison. Corner route on the sideline, you hear me? Boom, late in the game. Showed true stoicism. He didn't waver. He was calm. You saw it in his demeanor, dog. A real leader, a real winner. Heavy, period. What everybody's been waiting for. And it's clear. It's clear for real. Clear today that JJ McCarthy is the Vikings' #1 quarterback moving forward. We have a quarterback. We have found a quarterback, baby. You hear me? Now it's only one game. Got to stay consistent. But you see what happens when a man has protection, huh? You hear me? Everybody speaks of the Falcons game where he was under pressure the whole game, period. I got to always revert back and go back to the Super Bowl last year. Patrick Mahomes had no time, no protection. You saw what he couldn't even do. He couldn't even do it. He couldn't make no throws, bro. He had no time. I don't care who you are as a quarterback. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, whoever. You hear me, homie? McCarthy, JJ McCarthy, whoever. You have to have time to throw. You have to have time in the pocket, right? Heavy. We see the difference. You saw the difference. Give the man time. He can not only pick a defense apart, but he can also improvise if he doesn't have time. We finally have a quarterback, an athletic quarterback who can run. Tote that tater if he needs to. Get out of trouble. Get out of a jam. You hear me? Just what it is, man. So shout out, respect JJ McCarthy, man. Ain't played in 5 weeks and comes and performs the way he did. That man deserve major props. Big ups to him, huh? You hear me, homie? Heavy. Shout out to the defense. Shout out to Brian Flores. Next up, the defense. Brian Flores won that battle. He outcoached the offensive coordinator. You hear me? I feel like he could have made quicker adjustments. Yes, he can continue to improve, but the way the defense played late in the end, beginning of the game, you hear me? Tired, fatigued, on the field, making stops, giving the offense the ball back, holding the Lions to 3. You hear me? Getting to Jared Goff. The scheme he came up with, we know Jared Goff always picks the Minnesota Vikings defense apart. That's the history. Hear me? Even up against the blitz. But Brian Flores figures out how to switch those guys, send them in the gaps. Right? It's different when you're healthy on defense. You hear me, dog? It's different when you have Van Ginkel, a superstar, a starter, right? It's different when your front four are healthy, are not tired after going off a long stretch, 2 weeks overseas. The NFL fucked the Vikings over with that one. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna cap. Then coming back, getting some rest, playing a tough team in Philly, then a short week right after a bye week, back to back. You hear me, dog? No excuses, like I said in the live, no moral victories, but you got to take all this into consideration, right? Then the D-line interior, Hargrave, Allen, come back and perform the way they do, the way they did, proving that's why the Vikings brought them here. That's why they're here, to do exactly what Hargrave, especially Hargrave, did Sunday versus them Lions. You hear me, dog? Period. Yeah. It shows you what a rest, right? Some time to rest and heal up can do, dog. Period. Now we get past that, get back to the regular scheduled program every Sunday. No weird ass overseas type shit. No weird short games back to back. We here, we ready. Boom. And you saw the difference, man. Everybody dialed in, bringing the A game, playing Vikings football. Brian Flores dialed in, coming up with a great scheme, a great game plan. Shout out to Eric Wilson. He was all over that field. Shout out to the trenches, though. Let's check the yardage, the run game yardage that the Lions had, bro. Run game defense was outstanding. You hear me? you know? Heavy, dog. 65 yards rushing, right? Yeah. 65 yards rushing, that's all they had. Now, they ate them up at times in the pass game, but that could be deceiving as well, period. But they had Goff frustrated, bamboozled, confused early. He was missing throws, missing wide open throws. Heavy. The secondary is still the weakest point of this defense, but at the end of the day, the secondary stepped up well. But you see the difference in the defense when pressure gets there, right? So every week is different. Next week is Lamar. You know who Lamar is. He's going to be tough. The D-line will have to contain. We got to get pressure and get to him. Jonathan Grenard, Redmond, etc. You get to a quarterback, you get your hands on him, especially Lamar, you got to bring him down or at least slow him down. You hear me? There's no way Jonathan Grenard should be missing tackles against Jared Goff. Lamar Jackson, a different animal, an explosive offense. Derrick Henry coming in the building. We need that same aggression, same physicality from the trenches, from Hargrave, from Allen. You hear me, dog? From Ginkel, from everybody. Redmond, shout out Rodriguez for getting the block. He has a high motor. They're playing well. They look real good. You know, the scheme was good. The personnel was playing well. Brian Flores was in his bag. You hear me? He outdueled the OC for the Lions, period. It came down to adjustments and execution. I repeat, the game came down to adjustments and execution. And like I said, a couple game changing plays. You hear me? The field goal block. Shout out once again, the field goal block, bro. Big game changing play. Crazy how that works, right? You hear me, man? But the defense should have had a better performance. Missed tackles. We got to sure tackle. Got to clean that up. Clean up in that area. We saw Murph miss a tackle. They broke away for a first down, right? We saw Isaiah Rodgers miss a tackle, broke away for a first down. Big plays. Can't have that, bro. Period. We got to start playing playoff football around yonder. You hear me, bro? Heavy. Tackle. No cap. That's very important, dog, especially this week. You got Derrick Henry coming into town, Lamar Jackson coming into town. It won't be an easy task. Gonna have to zone in, set your feet, break down, buckle down, and play good ball and make the tackle. We got to tackle better. You hear me? Period. But great job by the defense, bro. The stunts was working. The key will be getting pressure. This defense thrives when it's getting pressure. The secondary needs help, so the defense has to continue to get pressure. So once again, Brian Flores, schemes and all, he's going to have to come up with something every week. Every week is different, huh? Every game plan is different. So week by week, Flores got to zone in like he zoned in versus the Lions. You know? You hear me, dog? Heavy, huh? Yeah. It is what it is, right? Let's go, baby. But Flores stepped up. Shout out to him. Shout out to his defense. Once again, I will say they won the game. You hear me? It was a time in the game the Vikings couldn't score. They kept scoring three or they went 3-and-out. You hear me? And the defense stepped up time after time like they've been doing the whole season, starting with Flores. But this team is a team that's coming together at the right time, getting healthy at the right time. You hear me? They just got to stay focused, stay locked in, mentally, physically, spiritually, prepared week in, week out. The coaches have to focus, no lackadaisical bullshit, no emotional roller coaster bullshit, no letdowns. Huh? This is a tough stretch, a tough part of the season, of the schedule. We're going to see what the Vikings are about. We saw what the hell they were about versus the Lions. But as we know, any given Sunday, you got to bring your A game every Sunday, man. Sunday, Monday, etc., Thursday, etc., whatever. Saturdays, if you're in the playoffs, maybe, whatever, baby. You hear me, dog? They got to bring their A game and play Vikings football. But shout out, salute, respect. Oh, side note, we got to figure out coverage with Metellus. Yeah, Metellus, that's where he lacks the most. We got to figure out coverage with Metellus, and we got to figure out coverage with Isaiah Rodgers. You hear me, homie? Just stating facts here, just being real. Heavy. Got to clean it up. Secondary, got to clean it up. The defense won't always be able to apply pressure in that form of fashion. Now, ideally, we hope they can, you know? Now, if they can, that's a perfect plan. It's very beautiful. But it's going to be tough to apply that much pressure week in, week out on quarterbacks. Now, it can be done. It can definitely be done. You hear me? And it's up to Brian Flores and his personnel to do that starting up front. But some games, the cornerbacks and safeties are going to have to man up. They're going to have to man the hell up. You hear me? And make a big play here or there. Or not give up a big play here or there. Period. You know? Playoff football, zone in, lock in. You hear me? Continue to grow, continue to get better. I'm excited in the direction this team is going, but they got to keep it up. No letdowns. We've seen this before. Big wins, a big win, and they have a major letdown. Once again, the Ravens are coming into town. You got to lock in, dog. Period. You hear me? Believe that, bro. Straight up. Big games, big moments. Let's set the standard. Let's get it. Continue to grow and continue to get better, man. Proud of them boys, dog. Proud of y'all boys, dog. SKOL Vikes, win, lose, or draw. You know what it is. Big SKOL here. Period, man. Hey, guess what? We run the North. Yeah. Believe that.